This Saturday is UFC Fight Night St. Louis, Derrick Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento, and this is going to be my full card predictions. I'm going to go through every single fight on the card and give you a quick breakdown and prediction. Starting off with the very first fight of the night, we have JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy. Battle of the mediocre women's MMA fighters here, basically. Both on a 2-fight winning streak. Veronica Hardy returned from a long layoff or hiatus or whatever you want to call it about a year ago, but before that she was out for about 3 years. I feel like this is one of those fights that's kind of a coin toss, but I have to go Veronica Hardy. I'm picking Veronica Hardy via decision. You look at JJ Aldrich. Her last fight against Montana De La Rosa was pretty competitive. I think De La Rosa, it really isn't that good. Before that, she beat Na Liang. I believe Na Liang was looking good in the first round and then kind of gassed out like she typically does in the second and then got finished there. Before that, lost to Ariane Lipsky. Before that, lost to Erin Blanchfield. No real shame in that. But I just think Veronica Hardy's a little bit better on the feet, a little bit faster, 3 years younger, almost 4 years younger. No, actually, really 3 years younger. I just think Veronica Hardy's better. JJ Aldrich does have a decent reach advantage, a 3.5-inch reach advantage. But I think Veronica Hardy, better striker, good footwork, hard to hit, not easy to take down. JJ Aldrich not great anywhere herself. I think Veronica Hardy just puts more damage on her, lands more combinations, moves out of the way, uses good footwork, and wins a decision. I think it's a fight that really could go either way, but I think Veronica Hardy gets this one done. I'm going to say Veronica Hardy 29-28 decision. Moving up on the card, we have Jarrett Gooden versus Kevin Jousset. Jarrett Gooden, I don't know why I said Jarrett Gordon. Jarrett Gordon was brutally robbed by Paddy Pimblett a while ago. Coming off that win against Wellington Tournament where he came back and ended up getting a rear naked choke win after hurting him badly. Keeps his hands really low and gets hit quite a bit. But he is super powerful. It does have a bit of a cardio issue. Carlston Harris, he got out grappled. He was really tired in the third round. That's his 2 fights in the UFC. He's 30 years old. And yet Kevin Jousset, I believe he has 2 fights in the UFC. No, he didn't come off Dana White's Contender Series, but he beat Kiefer Crosby and Kenan Song. Honestly, Jarrett Gooden, I don't know why I keep saying Gordon now, definitely has a power advantage here. But I think Kevin Jousset, better striker overall. I think he'll land some good leg kicks. I think he'll avoid the big power shots of Gooden early. Gooden doesn't have particularly great grappling. Wellington Tournament was actually beating the shit out of him in the first round, landing with good shots. And I think Jousset's a better striker than Wellington Tournament. Tournament primarily wants to grapple with you. So, Jousset does stand straight up. I've noticed that watching his fights. He's standing he's so straight up. That chin is there to be had. But I think he's the better striker. And I think Gooden keeps his hands too low. So I see Kevin Jousset kind of piecing him up. I could see Jousset via decision. I'm going to say Kevin Jousset, second round KO. Gooden starts to fade. We've seen Jousset go to a decision against Kenan Song. Kenan Song, I don't know why I'm butchering every name in this breakdown. But Kenan Song, decent striker, dropped Ian Machado Gary. So I'm going to go Kevin Jousset to get it done. Second round KO. Catches Jarrett Gooden coming in with his hands down, looking to land a big power shot. Counters him, hurts him, TKOs him in the second round. Moving up on the card, we have Jake Hadley versus Charles Johnson. Last time I broke down a Charles Johnson fight, I said he wasn't that bad of a grappler. And I got a lot of crap for it. But he really isn't that bad of a grappler. You look at the guys he's fighting. Azat Maxim in his last fight, got out-grappled a bit, really even outstruck in the first round particularly, but then Azat kind of gassed out, and it was a close, I think, third round, and it could have went either way. But before that, he's losing to Rafael Estevan. Before that, lost to Cody Durden. Before that, lost to Ode Osborne, which, isn't a great loss there. But, Cody Durden, really good grappler. Rafael Estevan, really good grappler. Azat, really good grappler. Beat Jimmy Flick, stuffed the takedowns there. I think at one point, I'm trying to remember did he fight Makayev at one point, or am I imagining that? I think he might have fought Makayev, but I might be mistaken. But either way, Charles Johnson isn't that bad of a grappler, but I think Jake Hadley's grappling is going to be too much for him in this fight. I think Charles Johnson will find scrambles, will find ways to get back to his feet, but I think Jake Hadley is good enough on the feet. It's not like Charles Johnson's just going to outclass him on the feet. Azat was dicing him up on the feet up until he really got tired, which is crazy. He didn't gas after one round, but he was substantially tired in the second round. I think Jake Hadley's good enough. I mean, he lost to Cody Durden, but Cody Durden didn't ragdoll him badly like the way he ragdolled Charles Johnson. And Cody Durden was beating up Charles Johnson on the feet. And Charles Johnson's entire career, he's fighting guys who are better grapplers than him, and then they're outstriking him on the feet because of the threat of the takedown. So I'm going to go Jake Hadley in this fight. I think, also you got to take into account, this is a flyweight fight. Jake Hadley's 27 years old. Charles Johnson's 33 years old. I don't see any significant advantages for Charles Johnson in this fight. Jake Hadley has nasty submissions. He almost submitted Cody Durden, but Cody Durden just proved impossible to submit with the triangle and then the armbar, switching it back and forth. I'm going to go Jake Hadley to get it done via decision because Charles Johnson's not a guy that's just getting starched out. I mean, I don't even know when's the last time he got finished. So I think Charles Johnson is going to be put in a couple bad positions, maybe close to being submitted, but he somehow survives and scrambles out. He's gritty, he's tough, but Jake Hadley ultimately gets it done via decision. I'm going to say 30-27, grappling heavy decision for Jake Hadley. Moving up on the card, we have Trey Waters versus Billy Goff. This is actually a tough fight to pick. Billy Goff is, I don't know why I'm saying his name like that. It sometimes sounds like they say golf, Billy Goff. So maybe that is how you pronounce it. I don't know. But got a KO win in his last fight against Kinoshita. I believe that was on the Singapore card. And then before that, Dana White's Contender Series where he got a KO. Took a lot of damage in both those fights. Constantly getting cracked on the chin. Trey Waters isn't like the best striker. Beat up Josh Quinlan in his last fight. Very lanky. Has a 5-inch, 4.5-inch reach advantage over Billy Goff. This is a fight I could see really going either way as well. I mean, I hate to be kind of sitting on the fence of a lot of these fights. But honestly, when looking at this fight, I just see a guy in Billy Goff who takes way too many shots. I see a significant reach advantage for a striker and Trey Waters. I think Billy Goff has more power definitely in his hands, more power overall, and more finishing ability. But I think Trey Waters is good enough to avoid those big power shots. Kind of has a wonky style where he keeps his hands low, is long, rangy. I see Trey Waters just outstriking him to win. Potentially even getting a finish. I mean, Goff has taken so much damage. It's only a matter of time before someone finishes him. He's got to address those deficiencies. He's defensively irresponsible. Getting touched up on the feet by Kinoshita. Getting touched up on the feet by a guy whose name I cannot pronounce on the Contender Series. I believe it was a comeback win. I think he got rocked and then came back and got a KO himself. Trey Waters lost on Dana White's Contender Series to Gabriel Bonfim. No shame in that. Both guys relatively young. Reach advantage for Trey Waters. I'm going to pick Trey Waters via decision. I think he gets it done using his long, rangy style. I think it's not the greatest fight. I think Billy Goff looks to close the distance, land big shots. Trey Waters uses his footwork, uses his length to stay out of range. And I think it's the bigger cage. I'm not sure because it's a fight night in St. Louis. And I think that definitely favors Trey Waters because Billy Goff's going to try to close the distance. He's gritty. He's a savage. He's just moving forward, getting touched up on the chin, looking to land big power bombs. But ultimately, I'm going to go Trey Waters via decision. Moving up on the card, we have Tabatha Ricci versus Tecia Torres. How long has Tecia Torres been out? 2 years since she lost a split decision to Mackenzie Dern, where she was stuffing some takedowns there. Mackenzie Dern was like pulling guard, looking for Kimuras and armbars and sweeps. Before that, win over Angela Hill, win over Sam Hughes. Okay, she's lost to elite level competition. I know Marina Rodriguez isn't thought of that highly nowadays, but I believe she also has a loss to Weili Zhang, and she's fought the who's who really at women's strawweight. And then you have Tabatha Ricci coming off a loss against Lupita Godinez, who was tough to take down, who landed more on the feet. It was a split decision. It was a close fight. Before that, beating Jillian Robertson. Before that, beat Jessica Penne. Before that, beat Poliana Viana. I mean, she just doesn't have the good wins. And initially when I looked at this fight, I'm like, I'm going Tabatha Ricci. She has decent grappling. She has decent striking for the division. And Tecia Torres is out for 2 years. Got beat by a grappler in the last fight. She's 34 years old compared to Ricci at 29 years old. But then I'm thinking Tecia Torres is like literally a ball of muscle. She's hard to take down. Mackenzie Dern I know Mackenzie Dern doesn't have the best offensive wrestling, but neither does Tabatha Ricci. And Tecia Torres was scrambling out of submission attempts, defending takedowns, landing on the feet. She has decent volume. She likes to use that side kick to the body. I'm going to go Tecia Torres to get this one done. I think this is one of those fights, again, that could go either way, but I like Tecia Torres in this fight. Other than the long layoff, I think this is kind of an easy pick, even though I think Tabatha Ricci could win, but I think this is going to be one of those fights where that round could go this way. It's going to be a very close competitive fight. But I'm going to go Tecia Torres. I think she's the better striker. I think she throws more volume. And I think she can stuff the takedowns of Tabatha Ricci. I think Ricci's going to be trying to grapple. Tecia Torres is going to be defending it. It all comes down to how many shots does Torres land on the feet versus control time for Tabatha Ricci. Because if it's close, the judges look at the control time. So I'm going to go Tecia Torres via decision in this fight. I just think she's better on the feet, and I think it's going to stay on the feet. Moving up on the card, we have Terrence McKinney versus Esteban Ribovics. I like Esteban Ribovics, but he was getting out grappled by Camuela Kirk in his last fight, and then started coming back after Kirk was gassed and was beating him up. Almost finished him, I think, in the third round. Before that, lost to Loic Ruziboev. Before that, got a win on Dana White's Contender Series. Look, Terrence McKinney has nasty power, and when he's fighting these kind of lower-level guys, he's just destroying them. I'm not like all aboard the Terrence McKinney hype train after his last two fights. Brendan Moreau, in his last fight brutalized him in like the first 30 seconds. Before that, Mike Breeden KO. Before that, lost to Nazim Sadihov. Before that, a loss to Ismail Bonfin, where he got finished in both those fights. I just think, these last three fights, or the last two fights, and now this fight is the third fight, I think Esteban Ribovics is a step down. I think Ribovics decent. I really do. I think he's decent. But he doesn't have takedown defense. He's a wild striker. McKinney, I think, is more polished on the feet and has nuclear power in his hands, has 7 first-round KOs. Ribovics does have 11 of his 12 wins via finish. So if Ribovics wins, I think he does stop Terrence McKinney, but I can't pick him. I got to go Terrence McKinney. I'm picking him via first-round KO. And Terrence McKinney's been fighting a little bit smarter in his last few fights. I know he went out there and destroyed both guys, but in the Nazim Sadihov, he grappled if he needed to. And ended up costing him later on, but I think he can easily, let's say it's tough on the feet. He can easily take down Ribovics and control him and beat him up on the ground, which I think he may mix in if he doesn't find an early finish, because Ribovics does not have good grappling at all. I mean, it's just not very good. So I'm going to go Terrence McKinney to go out there and get another first-round KO. I just think he's too powerful on the feet. I think he's too well-rounded, and I think Esteban Ribovics is a level of a guy in the UFC that Terrence McKinney's just going to smash each and every time. So Terrence McKinney, I don't know if the UFC really likes him or what, but he's getting a lot of these kind of bottom feeders where he can just come out here and absolutely destroy him and look super impressive and potentially win a bonus. Mike Breeden again, Mike Breeden, Brendan Moreau, and now Esteban Ribovics. I think Esteban Ribovics is the toughest out of the three of those, but I think McKinney finds a shot early in the first round, brutally chins Esteban Ribovics and gets a first-round KO. Moving up on the card, we have Chase Hooper versus Vyacheslav Borshchev. Honestly, when you look at this fight, you're like, okay, got to go with Borshchev, or Borshchev, I think it actually is how you pronounce it. But Chase Hooper, man, he's just I don't even know what to call. He's a scrambling. He's hard to hold on to. He's got a funky style. His striking's okay. He looks like a 14-year-old girl, but at the same time, he's got very good grappling. He's coming off a win over Jordan Levitt where he submitted him, whereas the way he was grappling was just so bizarre. And then before that, Nick Fiore. And then you have Vyacheslav coming off a decision. I think it was a draw. It's showing up as a draw, I think, against Nazim Sadihov. Yeah, it was a draw because I think Nazim had a 10-8 second round. Yeah, I just recently watched this fight, I think yesterday. It was a 10-8 second round for Nazim, and then he kind of gassed out, lost the third, and Borshchev won the first round. So, I mean, Nazim is so much better than Chase Hooper, in my opinion. Good striker, good grappler. Borshchev knows that his primary strength is his striking. He's been exposed a little bit in the grappling. Mark Caceres, I think, even got exposed by Joaquin Buckley at one point. I don't know if Chase Hooper's going to go out there and take him down and control him. So I'm going to go Vyacheslav Borshchev. I'm going to go second-round KO. I'm going to say Chase Hooper survives the first round, but I think Borshchev is just too nasty on the feet. Good kickboxing. Steve Garcia, not that long ago, year and a half ago, absolutely demolished Chase Hooper, I believe, in the first round. I think he's gotten better since then, and I think he's going to avoid getting KO'd in the first round, hopefully. And I hope it's a competitive fight, but I'm looking at these guys, Nick Fiore and Jordan Levitt. I don't think they're close to being on the level of Borshchev. I don't. I think Borshchev, gritty, nasty on the feet, great kicks, good power shots, and I think the striking differential in terms of skill in the striking is crazy different. And what is Chase Hooper going to do? Take him down and control him? Borshchev has shown decent get-up ability. Even when he was hurt against Nazim Sadihov, he was getting back to his feet. So I think Chase Hooper might try to worm his way to a submission, honestly. But I'm going to go Vyacheslav Borshchev. I'm going to say second-round KO. And I'm going to say another brutal KO. Chase Hooper suffers from another brutal KO in the second round. Borshchev gets it done. Moving up the card to the very first fight on the main card. One of my favorite fights on the card. Maybe my favorite fight on the card. We have Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Robelis Despaigne. Is this a hard pick, boys? I'm going Robelis Despaigne. Brutal first round KO. This guy's an absolute savage. This guy is a savage. He took on Josh Parisi in his butt crack in his last fight, which was literally a month and 3 weeks ago. So basically 2 months ago. Absolutely demolished him. You look through his fights, he's demolished everyone. I think he's only been to the second round once. And finished that guy as well, I believe. And you have Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Oh no, he decisioned Andrei Arlovski, who's literally garbage, who's ancient, who's literally a dead body. Oh, he beat Lucas Dresky. Oh my God, he KO'd Lucas Dresky. Not really all that great of a win. Before that, lost to Marcos Rogerio de Lima, okay? Won against Chase Sherman. Won against Derek Vandera. Waldo Cortes-Acosta has been feasting on the very, very bottom of the barrel heavyweight for too long. He's boring. He just marches you down kind of very slowly and just plots forward and, throws some leg kicks and throws some combinations, but he has really no power. I don't think he's a threat coming back to Robelis Despaigne. I don't think he's going to chin Robelis Despaigne. He can't mix in the grappling. Despaigne is a freak. 6'7", 87-inch reach, 9-inch reach advantage for Despaigne, 3-inch height advantage. Despaigne's 35, but this is heavyweight. It doesn't matter. Heavyweight doesn't matter how old you are. You can still have success, and he's only 5-0, so he's not really that old in terms of MMA years either. Waldo Cortes-Acosta lost to Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I think Despaigne would demolish Marcos Rogerio de Lima. That was 11 months ago. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, his only path is hoping that Despaigne gasses himself out after he hurts him looking for a finish. I don't see that happening. You got to go Robelis Despaigne first round KO. And I'm picking Despaigne to get a brutal first round KO over Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I think it's another highlight reel performance. I think he gets it done in the first 2 minutes. And, I think heavyweight's so shit. I've been saying for a while the heavyweight division's just god awful. Up until you get to the top 5, the whole entire division's awful. I think Robelis Despaigne can run through a lot of these guys. I think he would run through Tai Tuivasa, to be quite honest, as well, who I believe still in top 10. I'm not sure. I'm not looking at the rankings right now. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is being fed to Despaigne for that shit performance against Andrei Arlovski where he looked like dog shit. And I think Robelis Despaigne gets it done via brutal first round KO. Moving up on the card, we have Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson. Man, Alex Caceres has been around forever. He is a veteran. He has some decent striking, has some okay grappling. He's coming off a loss against Giga Chikadze where he looked decent. And Giga Chikadze is a decent contender at featherweight. Before that, I went over Daniel Pineda. Before that, I went over Julian Erosa where he brutally chinned him with a head kick. Before that, I lost to Sadiq Youssef. Sean Woodson hasn't fought the best competition, but I went over Charles Jourdain, went over Dennis Bazukia, which was on short notice. Split decision against Luis Saldana, which I also believe was a draw, if I'm not mistaken. Hasn't fought the best competition, but has real crisp boxing. Has a reach advantage. You look at his reach advantage, 4.5 inches. Has a 4-inch height advantage. Has good takedown defense. I mean, the frame, to be 6'2" at 145 pounds, the frame is insane. And I just think Caceres getting older, slowing down. I think Sean Woodson's boxing is what's going to win in this fight. I think he's going to pick him apart at range. I don't think Sean Woodson's finding a finish. When do we ever see Alex Caceres brutally chinned? I don't remember the last time that's happened, if ever. Again, I'm not looking at his full resume, and I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while. Sean Woodson's not known for going out there and just destroying guys. He has good body shots, good boxing. He's finished the guy via body shots, a while ago. But I think Caceres is good enough of a step up for Sean Woodson where he doesn't go out there and blow the doors off of him. But I think he wins. I think he wins with the striking. I think Caceres could maybe try to look for some takedowns and get some control. Bazukia was looking for some takedowns against him. But I don't think Caceres gets this done. I'm going to pick Sean Woodson. I'm going to say like a 29-28 decision win for Sean Woodson. Too big, too strong, too long, pause. And his boxing's really good. I see him picking apart Caceres at range and winning a close decision. I just think his striking will edge him out. He'll do more damage on the feet. Decent footwork. Not let Caceres look for any takedowns, stuff the takedowns when Caceres does shoot. And I think Caceres is too comfortable kickboxing as well. And even if he's losing, he's still going to try to find that one shot to potentially maybe KO him. But I don't think he finds it against a bigger, longer Sean Woodson. So Sean Woodson, 29-28 decision. Moving up on the card, we have Diego Ferreira versus Mateusz Rębecki. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Mateusz Rębecki has the craziest hairline I've ever seen. Really, that's the first thing I'm noticing right now. Dude has the craziest hairline I've ever seen. Dude's got a hairline like Derrick. If you know, you know. Rębecki, outside of his hairline, everything else is good. His striking is good. His grappling is good. He's a finisher. He's a savage. And 16 out of his 19 wins are via finish. He can submit guys. He can KO you. How am I going to pick Diego Ferreira at 39 years old, going on 40 years old, off a win over Michael Johnson where he was losing and found a KO shot? Otherwise, I would have had a sweep on that card in terms of predictions, so shame on Diego Ferreira for messing up my sweep. Before that, getting chinned by Mateusz Gamrot. Before that, getting chinned by Gregor Gillespie, who disappeared off into witness protection. Before that, lost a split decision to Beneil Dariush. Before that, beat Anthony Pettis. I mean, Ferreira's going to come out, look to grapple, look to use his jiu-jitsu. I don't think he's going to have success against Rębecki. Rębecki's not easy to take down at all. Rębecki has good jiu-jitsu, and Rębecki has nasty power in his hands. So it's coming off a submission over Roosevelt Roberts, beat Loic Ruziboev via KO, beat Nick Fiore, not the greatest win. I mean, he hasn't fought the best level of contender at all, but this is a good step up for him. Diego Ferreira is a good step up for him, and I think Rębecki gets it done. How does he get it done? You know, he has nasty power. I think his striking is far superior to Diego Ferreira. Ferreira has been caught, has been clipped, has been finished, has been KO'd multiple times throughout his UFC career. He's 40 years old. He's slowing down. He does have an 8-inch reach advantage, which I just noticed, which is crazy. I think Rębecki closes the distance and finds a KO shot. I'm going to go Rębecki late first round KO over Diego Ferreira, 40-year-old Diego Ferreira. I think Diego will be looking for takedowns. He won't be able to find them. I think Rębecki will be closing the distance, backing him up against the fence, unloading massive bombs, and I think he finds a kill shot, and I think he KOs Diego Ferreira. Late first round KO for Mateusz Rębecki. Moving up on the card to the featured fight on the card, we have Alonso Menifield versus Carlos Ulberg. You know, what I do with these fights is at first glance, I kind of have a pick. Then I watch a couple fights, you know, especially recent fights. If I'm really debating on a pick, I'll go back and watch a bunch of fights. But my initial reaction to this fight, I'm picking Carlos Ulberg. But then I'm looking at his last fight against Da Ung Jung. And if you don't remember, he was getting tagged on the feet. Ulberg actually looked like shit in this fight. Was getting tagged on the feet. I mean, he was tagging Da Ung Jung as well. But there were some shots that Da Ung Jung was landing that if Alonso Menifield lands, he's chinning Carlos Ulberg. And you guys know historically, I have a problem with these guys that get hyped up because of their camps. And that's kind of what I see in Carlos Ulberg. Fighting out of New Zealand, fighting out of Israel Adesanya's camp. I feel like he gets hyped up a bit too much. Didn't look great against Da Ung Jung. Da Ung Jung was initiating the clinch and grappling, and that's when he ended up getting taken down and submitted by Carlos Ulberg. Before that, a KO over Ihor Potieria. I don't think that's that great, to be quite honest. Before that, another KO over Nikolai. Before that, a win over Tafan Nchukwe. Before that, that fight against Fabio Sharan, I don't think that's how you pronounce his name, but I don't remember how you pronounce it, was absolute shit. Alonso Menifield has nasty KO power. Nasty KO power. He dropped Dustin Jacoby multiple times, hurt him multiple times. Dustin Jacoby's a really good kickboxer, really good striker for the division overall. Before that, submitted Jimmy Crute, was landing bombs on Jimmy Crute's chin. Honestly, oh man, this fight is tough to pick. I could see Menifield going out there and chinning Ulberg, but I do think Ulberg has a grappling advantage in this fight. Menifield has dog shit takedown defense, especially after the first round. But Ulberg does get touched on the chin. Look, I'm going to pick Ulberg, but I'm not super confident in the Ulberg pick. He's long, he's rangy, but you know, he has a 4-inch height advantage, but a 1-inch reach advantage. I do think he's a superior striker. I do think he can land at range, but I think he's defensively irresponsible, holds his hands down low. And if Menifield just pressures like Da Ung Jung and backs him up against the fence, he can find a kill shot. He has brutal one-punch KO power. And the fact that he's landing on Dustin Jacoby, I think Dustin Jacoby would give Ulberg problems. But I think Ulberg will mix in the grappling, which will make Alonso Menifield hesitant on the feet. And I'm going to pick Carlos Ulberg to get it done second round KO. I think Menifield's going to start to get tired, maybe defending some takedowns, looking for big power shots. Ulberg plays it safe in the first round, maybe even gives up the first round, maybe even loses the first round because he's just avoiding the big power shots of Menifield and mixing in the grappling a little bit, maybe not doing a whole lot of damage, just trying to sap the energy of Menifield because he's going to come in with a good game plan. He knows Menifield most dangerous in the first round. Maybe he gives up the first round, but maybe gets Menifield down once or twice. Menifield works back to his feet because it's not like Ulberg has amazing, top game. But I think second round, Menifield's going to be a little bit more hesitant on the feet, and I'm going to go Carlos Ulberg to catch him in the second round and TKO him. Catch him, drop him, follow him to the ground and TKO him. I think Ulberg gets it done. Again, he could get chinned. I could see him getting chinned by Menifield, but I'm going to go Ulberg just because I think he's a little bit cleaner on the feet. But I do hate that he has his hands low. He gets backed up against the fence. He's getting tagged by Da-Ung Jung with shots that if Menifield lands, he will KO him. He will KO him. If you're picking Menifield in this fight, I'd pick him first round KO. But I'm going to go Carlos Ulberg, more complete fighter, gets it done via second round TKO. Moving up on the card to the co-main event, Joaquin Buckley versus Nursulton Ruziboev. A fight that was added literally 2 weeks ago. The one question mark in this fight is Nursulton Ruziboev moving down to welterweight. He fought Cedriquez Dumas in his last fight. Eye poke, then uppercut finish. Before that, KO'd Bruno Ferreira on short notice. Nasty KO. Before that, outside the organization. Dude has 34 wins. That's crazy. And out of 34 wins, he has 32 via finish. Joaquin Buckley coming off a win over Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque's a dead body. Completely gave up in that fight. Before that goes the decision with Alex Moreno. Before that, a win over Andre Fialho where he head kick KO'd him. Literally no stock in that at all. Before that, a loss to Chris Curtis. Before that, a loss to Nasruddin Imavov. If this is at middleweight, easy pick for Nursulton Ruziboev. I'm still going to go with Nursulton Ruziboev, but I'm a little less confident because I don't know when's the last time that he fought at welterweight. And he's kind of moving down a little bit. And, Joaquin Buckley is dangerous on the feet, has some good power. I'm so tired of seeing that viral KO, that spinning back KO that he had against Impa Kasangane. If I never see that again, it'll be too soon. But, beating up the dead body of Vicente Luque, I don't think it's meaningful in any capacity. I really don't. I think Vicente Luque is shook from that Jeff Neal beatdown. I really do. I don't value that win very much for Buckley. And Nursulton Ruziboev, I understand he hasn't beat the best opponents, okay? But has a lot of experience, is really good everywhere, has good grappling, good power. I think he gets it done against Buckley. And Buckley has been chinned before. I mean, Chris Curtis brutalized him. Absolutely brutalized him in the second round. And we still don't have a reach for Nursulton Ruziboev on Tapology. Tapology needs to get it together. I'm assuming that he has a reach advantage. He has a 7-inch height advantage. As long as he makes weight and doesn't look like death on the scale, I'm going to go Nursulton Ruziboev via second round KO. I think he catches Buckley on the feet. I think he mixes in the grappling against Buckley. Buckley has improved his takedown defense. It's pretty solid actually now. So I don't see Ruziboev just dominating him in the grappling, but I see Ruziboev finding good shots on Buckley's chin. Similar, I remember the Kevin Holland fight at middleweight where I actually thought Buckley was actually decent. I think he took that fight on short notice, but I see Nursulton having a reach advantage, having a massive height advantage, and I see him finding a kill shot in the second round. I'm going to go Nursulton Ruziboev second round KO. I think he gets it done versus Buckley, and I cannot wait to see him celebrate with his coach. It's going to be a celebration to remember in St. Louis for Nursulton Ruziboev. But I think if Buckley wins, it's going to have to be with his boxing. But I just don't see him winning with his boxing. His chin's there to be had. He does have decent movement. Again, the weight class is really the big question mark here for Nursulton Ruziboev. That's the only thing even making me debate Joaquin Buckley. If this is middleweight, Nursulton Ruziboev wins all day. I'm picking him at welterweight as well. I think Ruziboev gets it done via second round KO. Moving up on the card, we have Derrick Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento. This is main event in 2024. We're just throwing Derrick Lewis on any card, basically. Oh, yeah, main event. Rodrigo Nascimento coming off a decision winner against Dontel Mays. Both look like shit in that fight. How can you not pick Derrick Lewis? How can you not pick Derrick Lewis? I know he's lost so many fights. Lost to Jailton Almeida, got dominated in the grappling, but did survive and took that on short notice. Beat Marcos Rogerio de Lima, got a KO there. Lost to Sergey Spivak, got submitted. Lost to Sergey Pavlovich, got KO'd. Lost to Tai Tuivasa, got KO'd. I'd love to see that Tai Tuivasa rematch about now. I think that'd be fun. Lewis versus Tuivasa. That might end up being another Fight Night main event later this year. I'm going Derrick Lewis first round KO. I mean, what is Nascimento going to just plot his way and throw volume shots to a decision, a 5-round decision? I don't see that. Nascimento doesn't have crazy power. He's going to split decision against Ilir Latifi, going to split decision against Tanner Boser, who's an absolute bum. Lost to Chris Daukaus. That was 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago. But you lost to Chris Daukaus. I'm not picking you. I don't care who it's against now. I don't care who you're fighting. All right? I'm not picking you. You lost to Chris Daukaus, who's literally a dead body himself. And I know that was 4 years ago, so it was a different scenario. Derrick Lewis is 39. Doesn't matter at heavyweight. Derrick Lewis has freakish power. He has unbelievably fast kicks that a lot of people don't realize. He's obviously been working on his jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have great takedown defense, so maybe Nascimento mixes in the grappling. But the way Derrick Lewis was exploding throughout the fight against Jailton Almeida, I think was actually pretty impressive. The way he was able to avoid the submission against Jailton Almeida, I thought was pretty impressive. Look what Jailton Almeida was doing to Curtis Blaydes before he got KO'd. Was getting ragdolled. So we know how good Jailton Almeida's grappling is. I think Derrick Lewis finds a shot on Nascimento's chin. I think some of these guys at heavyweight are just total NPCs, total bums, total scrubs. The heavyweight division is garbage. And I think Derrick Lewis has ungodly nuclear power. And I think he lands one shot on the chin of Rodrigo Nascimento. I think Nascimento is going to be winning until he's not. A typical Derrick Lewis fight where you're just winning, landing combinations until you're not. Curtis Blaydes found out the hard way. Got brutally chinned by Derrick Lewis after he was winning. I think it was second round. He was winning the first round, got chinned in the second round. Barely even landed with like an uppercut. Didn't even land full impact is what I mean. Rodrigo Nascimento is not winning this fight. Derrick Lewis will chin him. Whether it's the first round or second round, that remains to be seen. But I'm going to go Derrick Lewis via brutal first round KO. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching.